It's a grind. I mean, there's a good chance you'll lose whatever motivation you have. You will want to quit. Here are the 8 ways that you can not just survive rewrite hell, but thrive. If you've been here before, you got a pretty good idea of my messy background. If you're new here, I'm Carey. I'm a writer, a filmmaker, a designer, navigating this creator economy. Here are my tips on how I got back to rewriting and eventually creating a much better manuscript in the process. These steps are for most any writing, creative or technical, hell, for any creative endeavor. Step 1, find your own #1 editor. Have someone that's a trusted source. You're going to need someone other than you to read it, because you're going to fall in love with that voice inside your head, and you can look at the prose on the page and think that you've written something profound and entertaining. Is it me? Or is this good? It's awesome. I mean, it's entertaining and profound. Stop. Don't stop. You should write something that you want to read or something that you want to see. But remember, you're not writing a journal. It's not a transcript of your vlog. You're going to have an audience. You're going to have a reader. And it helps to know what lands and what doesn't, what works, what doesn't. And if you think that taking someone else's notes, criticisms on what works and what doesn't, is somehow going to dilute your artistic vision, you're wrong. You need an objective opinion, an honest opinion, a critical opinion. You need someone to give you the necessary guardrails to prevent your story from veering off the road, going over a cliff, tumbling down into the ravine below before exploding into a fireball.
Look out,
But the fact is, if you're a creative, we've all been Toonses. Step 2, walk away. You're too close to it. You need time to go back and reevaluate, to take a fresh look at it. If the criticism is from a trusted source, ask yourself, are they really trying to sabotage you? Do they really want you to fail? Is it possible they have a point? Don't take dictation. Don't take every little note they have as gospel. Don't throw out your vision for their nitpicking, but be open to this as a challenge. Can you use their criticism to make your story better? Step number 3, broadcast your project. This is controversial because you're going to have business gurus, lots of writers, especially in Hollywood. They're going to tell you, keep it to yourself until it's done. And in LA, I totally get it, because there is a genuine fear of theft of ideas. It happens all the time. But I have a big mouth, and I was telling anybody who would listen. This was actually the key to move forward. It's easy to quit when nobody knows what you're doing, when there's no accountability. But I needed people to know I was serious, that I'm not just sitting on a bar stool, sloppily talking about all the books and movies I had the idea for first. So when I really felt like my wife had called me out, had exposed me as an imposter, ID'd me as a hack, I still had to finish it because I'd opened my big mouth. My friends were asking for updates. My 13-year-old son, who hates to read, who was impressed I was creating something he disdains, wanted to know what was up.
My dad ran a book.
What's that? Hey, you want me to tell you about it?
Whatever, boomer.
The editors I'd hired for more critical feedback, the ones who'd even found a potential publisher for me, well, they were wondering, where the hell is it? See, I put myself in a corner. I left myself with no other solution. I had to finish the book, or always be the talker and not the doer. Step number 4, create stakes. This book is revenge on a film industry that blew smoke up my ass, told me I had talent, and then left me for broke. It's also a legacy for my kids. If they never do anything except use the book to stabilize their wobbly coffee tables in college, at least there's proof that I did something. And speaking of proof, this is like a proof of concept for any potential clients who may need to hire a ghostwriter or may need to bring in a strategist to help create personas and other marketing strategies. Or hell, just need somebody to write some engaging copy. I can go in, just drop the book on their desk. If I can write a thriller about a complex, abstract issue and make it entertaining, just think what I can do for your company. This book is a recipe for super cold revenge gazpacho. You know, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if a production company wanted to produce a movie or series based on my book that was a novelization of a pilot they wouldn't even pick up years before. I have a lot riding on this. Step number 5, reverse engineer your solution. When you have to rewrite, you might be tempted to take that story down to the studs, to start all over. The hard part is over. This first draft is where you put in everything, including the kitchen sink. It's just as on these rewrites, your job is to redecorate the kitchen, not turn it into a wet bar. This is where taking time away from the project is important, because when you come back, you're going to need to evaluate where the structure is weak, where you need to reinforce. And I know that's vague, but this is where the work really counts, and where, quite honestly, it's very personalized. You may have to jettison plot lines, combine characters, but one thing you'll discover is there's no such thing as a minor change. When you're writing a script, it's easier to make fundamental changes because of the way the script is formatted. So you can change dialogue fairly easily, you can remove a character, change their motivation. When you're working in the format of a screenplay, it's like ordering tapas. You know, I'm switching out olives for pork tenderloin. But a novel is ordering spaghetti with tomato sauce and getting served spaghetti bolognese and deciding I'm not going to send it back, I'm just going to pick out all the beef. That result may be the best pasta I've ever had, but it's going to take time. Rule number 6, play head games. Because this story was originally a pilot, it was written in a certain way. It's kind of a combination of a print ad and a white paper with some personas thrown in for good measure. Scripts are living documents. They take you from pre-production to shooting on set to editing. They've got to be entertaining. They have to catch the eye of producers, financiers, actors. They have to contain enough action, enough dialogue, and have enough technical information sprinkled throughout to kind of give the teams an idea of the look and the feel of the film. You've got to be able to talk to the director of photography, the set designer, the costume designer, the locations manager. As a result, the prose is sparse, but it's very action-oriented, and it's always in present tense. You're confined as a writer to limiting the motivations, the subtext, the meaning, the conflict, the plot, to being expressed through only what an audience can see and hear. In a script, it's all show, don't tell. A novel is different. It's all show and tell. My pilot had accomplished over 70% of the story I wanted to tell. The manuscript may have been revised over and over, but at the end it was still just 70% realized. And according to my wife, it still read like a screenplay. Now, I could have blown off her criticism. I could have rationalized it and decided that, she's just not into my type of fiction, and she doesn't understand the influences of Elmore Leonard and James Ellroy, with some Michael Crichton sprinkled in for good measure. But that's bullshit. She's read them. She knows what they're like. And she's read all my scripts. She loves chick lit, but she's an avid reader of fiction. So I took her criticism seriously. I realized I was making it hard on myself because I was neglecting an opportunity to take the reader inside my characters' heads. And now this may seem like a minor issue, but being able to write in past tense made it feel for me like I was writing a novel. Not to mention, now I was able to wordsmith a little bit, play with the flow of a sentence, provide irony and foreshadowing for the reader. This made writing it a joy, and I knew that when I'd have to go in and rewrite it again, and again, and again, I'd still be ready to dive in, because I enjoyed the wordplay. Step number 7, iterate. Sorry folks. Chances are you're going to have to redo steps 5 and 6 over and over and over again. Finally, step number 8, let it go. Once you get into the rhythm of writing the story and you enjoy playing God, it's going to be tough to let it go, but you've got to put it out there. There's going to come a point where you're going to avoid finishing it. It needs more tweaking. I'm not sure about this line. I might need to readdress that. Would my character really say this? And note that there is always room for revisions, but there is definitely a bell-shaped curve when it comes to productive changes. I mean, I knew I was done when I found myself sitting on the finished product for a few days and finding excuses to go back and make minor tweaks. I knew that these little changes, they weren't making it better. And I knew no one would notice. I just didn't know how to not be rewriting. I'm sorry, but Emily Dickinson, she offed herself for a reason, and one of them was she had a lot of creative stuff locked up in a box somewhere. Your stories only count if they're on the page, and if that page is in a reader's hands, available to others. But Carrie, I can't get published. This is the 2020s, right? I mean, self-publishing is no longer the cringe it once was. In fact, it might be a savvy business and marketing decision. It's easy to publish your work as something as accessible as an electronic book. I mean, it takes barely any capital investment, and you have limitless distribution opportunities. And the beauty of it is, whatever you sell, you get to keep, not just the 23 cents on the dollar you might get if you're using a traditional publisher. So that's it. It's gone. I've sent it off. I know that soon I'm gonna have my red pen in hand, ready to polish it yet again, to do whatever I need to so that it can find its way to the back pages of Amazon or the discount shelf at half-priced books. If you like this video and want much more specific examples of my adventures in rewrite purgatory, subscribe to my newsletter in the details below. And hey, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.